Mr. Reed? Mr. Reed, Mr. Denton?
Here.
Ms. Lewison? Ms. Lewison's here. Ms. Blackwood?
Hi, everybody.
Here.
He's here, everybody.
Here.
Ms. McMullen?
Present.
Ms.
Here.
Ms. Coney?
Here.
Mr. Keith?
Here.
Ms. Green? Here. Jefferson?
Here.
Mr. Robinson?
Here.
Mr. McCoy?
Here.
Mr. Stowers?
Present.
Mr. Elliott? Is Mr. Elliott on?
Present.
Yes. And Ms. Medlock? She is on. Ms. Medlock?
Here. Can you hear me?
Yes. You have 15 present.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Amy. We have 15 present, so we do have a quorum. We can go ahead and get our meeting started. Approval of minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
A motion was made with the second that we approve the minutes from our last meeting. All of those in favor, can you signify by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? I don't think Justin was there any unfinished business that we needed to take care of?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll go ahead and start our new business. Amy, would you please read Resolution 20I-30, please?
Resolution of the Quorum Court of Pulaski County certifying local county government endorsement of Arcturus Incorporated doing business as Arcturus Aerospace to participate in the Consolidated Incentive Tax Act of 2003.
Justice Coney? Oh.
And recommendation.
Okay, was that Justice Coney with the, okay, a motion was made with the second that we send Resolution 20I-30 to the full Quorum Court with a due pass recommendation. Is there any discussion? No discussion?
Mr. Keith, I believe Mr. Stowers has a question.
Okay, all right.
Yes, Mr. Keith, am I recognized?
Yes, you're recognized, Mr. Showers.
Is there anyone from the chamber or from this company that's with us this evening? Or will they possibly be at the full Quorum Court meeting on the fourth Tuesday of the month?
Phil, there's nobody from any of these businesses that are present on the meeting. Normally, they wouldn't even come to these committee meetings since they've been going directly to the Quorum Court. So if we come back and do an in-person meeting, we'll make sure that we have Ben France from the chamber who handles all these. If not, I guess I can make a request that they give some sort of an explanation from the business owners.
It's always helpful it is whether it's in writing or whether it's in person. So, Mr. Keith, Mr. Black, thank you both. I yield.
All right. Any other questions, comments?
No, I'm pleased with it.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you, Ms. Tony. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay, is there a question from Justice McMullen?
Yes, sir. There's a question from Ms. McMullen.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we hear you.
Okay, I couldn't tell because I just couldn't tell at that particular time. I wasn't getting a response. But what I want to point out is the most salient or most noticeable feature is the fact that these businesses, as I read through the resolution, they're all thriving at this time. And that's evident in that they are asking to forego taxes so that they can expand whatever, various things. And I see a juxtaposition in how this contrasts with many of the small businesses that have actually had to shut down at this time. And also, I want to say that the loss of funds, there's also a loss of funds, and I think that's very salient. There's a loss of funds upon the county's tax base at this time. And as guardians of the county's budget, I really do think that we should be vigilant about investigating the economic gains or the lack thereof concerning these tax incentives. I think it is very good that these companies are here at this time, but like I said, there is this juxtaposition that it's essential for us to recognize. There's this cognitive dissonance of approving a tax incentive at this time when our tax receipts are adversely affected by this economic downslide. I would ask for us to forego supporting this at this time as guardians of the county budget.
Is that a motion? Ms. McMullen, is that a motion you're making?
If there is a motion, it would be in the order of foregoing at this time and revisiting it at a later date when we can see some improvement in our budget. And as I said, and so that would be the motion. And I would probably call upon you to word that, or either Justin.
Yeah, Ms. McMullen, I think that if I'm reading you correctly, you would like to make a motion to table this tax back and to go ahead and save us time because there's 3 tax backs on here to table these items for 30 days or 60 days. It would be up to you, but your motion would be to table.
That you're on track there. I would like for us to table it and give us time to see what our economy and what our tax base is going to look like further on down the line. We have already been admonished, that we're really and honestly on thin territory.
Okay. Lily, it's got to be a very clear motion as to what time frame do you want to table it to?
All right. How much time do I have? Can I say 90 days?
If that's the motion that you want to make, the motion would be to table it for 90 days.
Okay, then I would like to, okay, as far as definitely or indefinitely.
You're tabling it to a definitive date. You're not tabling it indefinitely.
Right now, then I would have to say at least to table this for 90 days.
Okay. Mr. Keith?
Okay. So Ms. McMullen, Justice McMullen has made a substitute motion. Are we talking about tabling all of them, or are we just talking about this particular one, Justice McMullen?
Yes, Curtis, I think all of at this time.
Okay. There's been a substitute motion made that we table all of the resolutions for tonight's agenda meeting for 90 days.
Mr. Keith, I'm gonna jump in here, and I think the easiest way to do this is I'm gonna unmute everybody. So
Okay.
that way we can hear if anybody has a second or anything like that. So everybody be prepared because you're going
live.
Going live.
But there has to be a second, correct?
Correct.
Right. Okay. Did everybody hear the motion that we're going to table? The motion is that we table the 4 items, the 4 resolutions tonight for 90 days just to see what the state of the county. I don't hear a second.
Second.
Who was that? Phil?
Barry.
Oh, Barry. Okay. A motion was made with the second that we table item 20I-30, item 20I-31, item 20I-32, and item 20I-33. Is there discussion?
Yes, sir. I had my hand up for a while.
Okay.
Okay. That's Mr. Stowers.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Keith. With all
Hey,
due respect,
Phil,
yeah.
hold on a second. I'm going to put everybody back on mute and we'll go to order, okay? And then you can unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. So with all due respect to my esteemed colleagues, Ms. McMullen and Mr. Jefferson, I think at this time that we're at, and I've certainly have some thoughts as to where we go from here. But as it relates to this secondary motion that's on the table right now, and stifling economic growth, stifling job creation, stifling the very things that we need in our community from an economic development perspective. I think to put this line in the sand at this point in time, when unemployment in our county is at the level that it's at, and unemployment in minority communities is at the even higher level that it's at, I think we're cutting off our nose to spite our face. Because when you look at this, what we're really talking about is our little piece of the pie of the sales tax. The majority of the sales tax, as we know, is the state, and then there's a portion that is the county and the cities. But I think this just sets a really for companies that are coming in here, and Amazon and others that are investing not just thousands but millions and billions of dollars into our community, for us to draw this line in the sand as the largest county and the capital county of Arkansas. I think it sets a bad precedence, and I think that business leaders across this country are going to listen to this meeting at some point in time, and they're going to hear what this county legislative body is proposing, and they're going to shake their heads. And they're going to shake their heads and say, "We'll take our business elsewhere. Thank you." And that's my concern with this substitute motion. Mr. Keith, I yield.
Okay, thank you, Justice Stowers. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, Curtis, I've got one. This is Tyler.
Okay, Tyler.
Yeah, just quickly, I couldn't agree more with what Phil Stowers just said. I think he's spot on. I think we don't want to do anything to persuade folks for wanting to do business in Pulaski County. We are open for business, and that's the message we should be sending. So thanks.
Let's do 7 because I'm on. Let's do 7. 7 will be fine. Okay. Justice Denton, was there anything else?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. What about are there any other comments?
Yes, I do have a comment. I don't really want to put off 32, 20I-32 on that. That's in my district, and I agree with Justice Stiles. We do need those jobs in that area, and we're asking the DFA to refund tax money to them, and part, like you said, part of their state money. We're asking that they refund. They're authorizing us to DFA to refund sales and use taxes back to the manufacturing company. So I'm not in agreement.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes, Curtis, I have something I'd like to say.
Donna, Justice Massey.
No, this is Blackwood.
Oh, Justice Blackwood. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I can't see anybody. Okay, go ahead,
It's
Justice
hard.
Blackwood.
It's hard when you can't see anybody. I understand how Barry and Lily feel, and I know exactly what they're saying because I've never agreed with tax back incentives, and I think they're wrong. But the problem is that they're nationwide, and when they are nationwide, we cannot compete. Because if they are nationwide and we are the only ones that don't do tax back incentives, then they will go somewhere else. So the problem is that you have to tackle this nationwide. You have to do something nationally to stop tax back incentives. You can't do it in your own little tiny community, because what happens then is they just go somewhere else. And so that's the problem with tax back incentives, because what they do is they just go somewhere else. So I do understand your plight with the tax back incentive, because I do agree with you on that. But the problem is you can't solve it, because then you will just lose business. They will just go somewhere else because they'll get it somewhere else. So it is a problem, and unfortunately that's the way it is. But we have to tackle this on a national level rather than on a community level.
Okay. Anything else, Justice Blackwood? If there's nothing else from Justice Blackwood, any other questions or comments?
I would just like to make a comment too. We have to realize that everybody's watching what we're doing, and the word on the street is that all of us need to be replaced. We all need to get opponents. So we need to watch, how we turn things down, how we turn people down. I just want you all to be aware of that.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Justice Green. Any other questions or comments? If there's none, then we need to go ahead and vote, unless we want to pull this motion. Then Amy, would you please go ahead and call the roll on the substitute motion?
Hey, Amy, hold on a second. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to unmute everybody. So let's make sure that we're.
Mr. Justice, are you?
Okay, guys, everyone's unmuted.
I'm trying to. Can anyone hear me?
This is Justice, are you?
Hello?
Okay. Okay, guys. The motion has been put forth. He's asked for the roll to be called. So I'm going to unmute everybody, and you will be voting on the motion to table for 90 days. That is what you're voting on right now. So I'm going to unmute you all, and Amy is going to call the roll.
Justin, I have been trying to speak.
Mr. Reed?
You cannot hear.
Okay.
No.
I think she's trying to put
Reed, was that a no?
Okay. What's going on?
That's a no.
Okay. Mr. Denton?
No.
Ms. Lewison?
No.
Ms. Blackwood?
No.
Ms. McMullen? Ms. McMullen? Massey?
no.
Ms. Whitney?
No.
Mr. Keith?
No.
Ms. Green?
No.
Mr. Jefferson?
No.
Mr. Robinson?
No.
Mr. McCoy?
No.
Mr. Stowers?
No.
Mr. Elliott?
No.
And Ms. Medlock?
No.
Okay, I'm showing 14. Ms. McMullen?
Do we know what happened to Ms. McMullen?
Okay.
Hear me.
She's still on here.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. McMullen?
You cannot hear me. I have been trying to speak, but you're not able to hear me.
We hear you. We hear you. We hear you.
Well, I have been asking to speak ever since when
Okay.
we were
Justice,
allowed to speak. So
Justice
it's funny
McMullen.
now
Justice,
you haven't been able
Justice
to hear me
McMullen.
earlier. Yes. What is it?
Okay. Are you going to vote?
Well, it doesn't matter. I had something to say, but I was not recognized. Do you hear me?
Okay.
Do you
So
hear me?
with,
I had,
is that an abstention then?
and I was not recognized. It doesn't
Justice
matter.
McMullen.
I'm concerned. I'm not even in the meeting.
Okay. Okay, Justice McMullen. We apologize for that. But by vote of 14 and just
I think that we
we'll
should
figure
go,
out
but
how.
I think I should be recognized before this vote is valid.
Justice
Point of
McMullen,
order, Mr. Keith. Point of order.
Justin, hold on. Would you please mute Justice McMullen?
She's muted. the roll was called. I mean, if she wants to make a comment after the fact, she can make that comment. That's fine. But I mean, the roll has been called. We have to maintain decorum, even though that this is an electronic meeting. This is being recorded live, and it is
Right.
being recorded for the FOIA reasons. So everybody needs to maintain decorum. The roll was called. Amy called the roll. 14 nays. So, Mr. Keith, I would move on to the next item.
Right. We
Hey,
got to go
Justin,
back to the original.
Mr. Keith, Justin, point of order. Don't we need to have a vote actually on that resolution, though?
Yes, I'm sorry. You're
Yes,
right.
that's what I was going back to. I was going back to the original resolution. So
You're correct, Mr. Keith.
the substitute motion failed, and so we're going to go back to the original motion to send 20 I-30 to the full quorum court with the due pass recommendation. Amy, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Justin, is everybody unmuted?
Everybody is unmuted and being recorded, so yes.
Okay.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Medlock.
Aye.
Mr. Elliott?
Yes.
Mr. Stowers?
Yes.
Mr. McCoy?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Jefferson?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Aye.
Yes.
Ms.
Yes.
Massey?
Yes.
Ms. McMullen?
Explanation as to why I was not recognized during discussion.
Ms. McMullen, I will recognize you as soon as we get this vote.
Please.
Ms. McMullen, please, I will recognize you as soon as we get this vote.
I think that I should be, well, I'm not voting now. I wasn't recognized. I was not allowed to speak. So this vote is not.
Go ahead, Curtis.
Yeah, Amy, would you please continue to call the roll?
Yes, Ms. McMullen, I believe that was an abstention. So Ms. Blackwood?
Aye.
Ms. Lewison?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
So 14 ayes and 1 abstention.
Okay, by a vote of 14 ayes and 1 abstention, we will send 20 I-30 to the full quorum court with the due pass recommendation. Justice McMullen, I apologize. Would you, I will give you a point of order, a personal privilege at this point. Are we still there? Are we still there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we hear you.
You hear me now, and I would like to know why I was not recognized during the discussion.
Justice McMullen. Can you hear me, Justice McMullen?
I hear you. Did you hear me?
Okay, but I'm going to give you an explanation. I do apologize at this point, Justice McMullen. We're doing, we're trying something new, and it is difficult sometimes to hear you. It was nothing personal that I did not recognize you, but I'm giving you the opportunity. But
I think
I'm giving
that you're giving me the floor at this point. Okay.
But I'm giving you. But you're not letting me speak, Justice McMullen. Okay, go ahead and speak. You got the floor. You got your personal privilege.
Thank you. You apologize, but that is not helping the situation. As I said before, I don't think that that is a valid vote. And if doing this virtually is going to present such problems, I really do recommend that we try to do this another way, in person, by distancing. That is my issue. That is my issue.
Nah.
I would like for us to take that up. This is very
agree with you.
inconvenient, and the vote that is not valid. Because I had something that I needed to say that I think was very important, particularly of some of the so-called facts that were stated that are not factual, particularly about the competition. These places have already hired. The statistics show us that the competition is really not there. Pulling up and relocating would cost them more and be more inconvenient than they would want. So I think we're really not informed about it. And now I think I'm going to just leave the meeting, because if I can't be recognized and this is as inconvenient as it is, it's no need of me trying to participate. I think that, like I said, that we should consider doing it in person. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Justice
McMullen.
Flowers. It will be noted, duly noted.
Ms.
Amy,
Stowers says, ugh.
please mute her. Thank you. Amy, would you please read 20 I-31?
A resolution of the Quorum Court of Pulaski County certifying local county government endorsement of Infusion Centers of America, LLC, doing business as Alleviant, to participate in the Consolidated Incentive Tax Act of 2003.
Justice Blackwood.
I would like to send this to the full quorum court with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
A motion was made with the second that we send 20 I-31 to the full quorum court with the due pass recommendation. Would you like to explain, Justice Blackwood?
This is a typical, let's see here. In my district, it is a, let's see here, resolution. It's the Infusion Centers of America, located on Rodney Parham in Little Rock, has requested benefits accruing from the expansion of their business. Is what it is. And hopefully they will be here, maybe, or can get someone here from the, their business on, you know, when we have the full quorum court to explain exactly what they're doing, but they're expanding their business.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Justice Blackwood. A motion was made with the second that we send 20 I-31 to the full quorum court with a due pass recommendation. Are there any questions, comments? Is there none?
I'm seeing none, Mr. Keith.
Okay. If there are none, Amy, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Aye.
Yes.
We lose her?
Who is asking for?
Ms. Black?
Aye.
Okay. McMullen is present. Ms. Massey?
Aye.
Tony?
Yes.
Mr. Keith?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Aye.
Mr. Jeff?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. McCoy?
Aye.
Mr. Stowers?
Yes.
Mr. Elliott? Mr. Elliott?
Yes.
And Ms.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. How would you like?
I was wanting to make a comment. I didn't know how to raise my hand. I just wanted to say that I think now more than ever, we need to welcome new business growth in our community. So with that being said, I am absolutely in favor. Aye.
Okay, so you have 14 ayes.
Okay. By a vote of 14 ayes, one absent, we'll send 20 I-31 to the full quorum court with a due pass recommendation. Amy, would you please read Resolution 20 I-32.
A resolution of the Quorum Court of Pulaski County certifying local county government endorsement of HMS Manufacturing Company to participate in the Consolidated Incentive Tax Back Act of 2003.
Justice Green.
With the do pass motion.
Second.
Okay, would you like to explain, Justice Green?
Yes, what they're asking the department, they're asking for us to approve for DFA, the Department of Finance and Administration, to authorize refund local sales and use taxes for HMS Manufacturing for the purpose of expansion. They're trying to, I think that they're wanting to expand their building for 25 million, and they needed machinery and equipment for 10 million. And this is for the refund of the tax money.
Okay. Thank you, Justice Green. Are there any questions, comments?
I have a question.
Okay, that is Justice Robinson. All right, Justice Robinson, you got the floor.
Thank you. And Justin, you may have to help me out here. My question is that these tax backs that we're talking about, the amount of time that these are all actually sent back or given back to these companies, it's not a one-time lump sum money given back. Is that correct? I mean, this is over a couple of years or 10 years, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
It's not a one lump sum, but I'm definitely not the expert to answer that. But it's not just a one lump. They have to demonstrate what they're doing.
Okay, well, and I'm wondering if that might be part of the confusion is we're talking about tax back and you're thinking, well, we're giving a tax back all at once, but that's really not the case. It's over a certain amount of time if I remember correctly. And I guess Hutch isn't actually on this call, is he?
No, sir. But Mr. Robinson, I can get you that information prior to the quorum court meeting.
Okay, thank you.
I think, can I have a question?
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Barry.
Yes, it is. Yeah, this is, that's the only questions I have with all of them. And that's the reason why it's very important for me to see the people in front so I can be able to answer the questions that I have, because a lot of people don't have the questions that I need to ask. So I want to make sure the right people are around the table. And I think as an elected official, we should have a right to be able to answer the question if we're confused on something. We just don't want to make a blank judgment on something without answering the question, be able to answer the question. So, and there was no disrespect to no one. It was just me want to be informed. That's all it is. It was just me. I want all these because I want more business in our county and I want them to come here. I don't want to stop them for no reason. But if I think it's important that we be able to answer the question that we need to answer. But thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
I just have a comment. In the case
Okay,
of,
go ahead, Justice Green.
in the case of mine on Lindsay Road, they're asking for a refund of taxes that are sales taxes that have already been paid, and they're going to be hiring 61 new employees at an average of $15.84 per month. Per hour. I'm sorry. So this is going to create new jobs. It's going to create new jobs in the area which we need.
Okay. Thank you, Justice Green. Are there any other questions or comments? There being none, Amy, would you please call the roll on Resolution 20 I-32?
Ms. Medlock?
Aye.
Mr. Elliott?
Yes.
Mr. Stowers?
Yes.
Mr. McCoy?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Jefferson?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
Mr. Keith?
Yes.
Ms. Coney?
Yes. I can't really hear, but yes.
Ms. Blackwood?
Aye.
Ms. Lewison,
Yes.
Mr. Hinton,
Aye.
and Mr. Reed. 14 ayes.
By a vote of 14 ayes, one absent, we will send 20 ayes, 32 to the full quorum court with a due pass recommendation. Amy, would you read resolution 20 I-33?
A resolution of the Quorum Court of Pulaski County certifying local county government endorsement of Cypress Cold Storage LLC to participate in the Consolidated Incentive Tax Act of 2003.
Justice Elliott,
Send this to the full quorum court with a due pass.
Second.
a motion was made with the second that we send 20 I-33 to the full quorum court with the due pass recommendation. Justice Elliott, would you like to explain?
One second here. It's for sales tax. Excuse me. Tax back and that in 203 in the Act of 203. It's a cold storage company, Cypress Cold Storage. All they're doing is getting it back.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Justice Elliott. Are there any questions, any comments? Is there being none? Amy, would you please call the roll on 20 I-33?
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Aye.
Aye.
Ms. Blackwood?
Here's the place we can park.
Somebody.
Okay, I'm getting some background noise.
Yeah. Somebody's got some terrible.
Amy, go really slow because obviously someone's picking up some serious background. So we're at Miss Blackwood, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to unmute Miss Blackwood.
Ms. Black- did Ms. McMullen rejoin the meeting? I thought I saw her rejoin.
Yes, she did.
Okay. Ms. McMullen? Okay, I'm not hearing her.
I can't unmute her, so I don't know what's going on with her, but she seems to be on.
That's fine.
That's fine. Move on.
Ms. Massey?
Aye.
Ms. Coney?
One more time, Amy.
Ms. Coney?
Yes.
Mr. Keith?
Yes.
Ms. Green? Ms. Green?
Aye. Aye.
Mr. Jefferson?
My aye.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Jefferson?
Aye.
Mr. Robinson?
Aye.
Mr. McCoy?
Yes.
Mr. Stowers?
Yes.
Mr. Elliott? Mr. Elliott?
Yes.
And Ms. Medlock?
Aye.
Okay, and Ms. McMullen, is she able?
She's unmuted. She can speak if she wants.
Ms. McMullen, did you want to vote on item 33?
No, she doesn't appear to be there, Amy.
She's left the meeting.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, I saw her rejoin. Okay, 14 to 0, 14 ayes.
Okay. By a vote of 14 ayes, 1 absent, we will send 20 I-33 to the full quorum court with a due pass recommendation. And that seems to be all of the resolutions we have to take care of tonight. Is there a motion?
Move to adjourn.
Adjourn.
So moved. Are there any announcements? There being no announcements, the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Good meeting, Curtis.
Thank you, Curtis. Good job, man.
Good
Y'all
meeting.
Good job, Mr. Keith.
Yeah.